I recently passed by a neighborhood food stop that claimed to feature local farm fresh eggs. I'm not here to dispute their claim of having fresh and local eggs. The eggs are more than likely from somewhere at least an hour's drive away, probably more. Is this the best our centralized economy can do to provide local supplies to local producers? What if we could source the food needed for ourselves and our pets even closer? What if it was truly our neighbors and members of our communities that supplied things like eggs to restaurants? It's time to reevaluate the entire supply chain if you want to survive as a small business in the food service industry. In this video, I want to begin to explore what some of those options might look like so we can start discussing them. The footage you're watching is from a short little drive that started right in front of one of my friend's houses. I wanted to show you how close she lives to a trendy little neighborhood area filled with shops and eateries just like the one I saw claiming to have local and fresh eggs. You'll understand my reasoning for showing you the proximity of her house to this area very soon.
Give me the right to be a human being. I'm fine with that right. Now you can keep me from having that if you've got all the policemen and all the jobs on your side.
Hey everybody, and thank you for joining me for another Alternate Economy Wednesday video, although it is Friday. I apologize, I've had some technical issues with getting my videos uploaded for about the past week. The good news is the issue is resolved, and I have multiple videos uploading now that will be made public over the next few days, so stay tuned, my friends. In this edition of the Alternate Economy Show, I want to focus on urban farming. As the Great Reset advances its stranglehold on our lives, taking away our choices and leaving us only with what the globalists and their chosen suppliers want us to have, many in cities are worried about how they will provide food for not only themselves and their families, but their animals. One of my good friends lives in Spokane, Washington, and is right in the heart of city life, yet has found a way to be as self-sufficient as possible and provide the beginnings for what will be needed in her surrounding community as more and more choose to abandon this unjust economic system. This is an introduction to my friend's urban farm. What you're seeing right now is the latest and cutest edition. These baby rabbits, also known as kittens, are only about a month old. I was helping to build the structure they're in, known as a rabbit tractor. When finished, it'll allow them more room to roam freely while keeping them safe and from getting lost. Some people may wonder, why rabbits? I certainly did, and especially with my friend whom I'd never seen eat meat. It turns out, rabbits are very versatile. For starters, one of the most obvious is they can be used for meat. Their hide and fur also has multiple uses. Now my friend uses them to feed her dogs since they've never learned to fend for themselves. And she was quite surprised at how long the first two rabbits she dispatched fed her dogs. I bring this up because it also highlights some of the difficult decisions and things that will be required to thrive outside of the Great Reset. Think about that. This is a woman that doesn't eat meat. When she realized what is coming for those of us who refuse to participate in an experimental mRNA shots and subsequently will be refused access to the economic system we've all grown habitually familiar with, she acquired rabbits and learned how to care for and breed them so her dogs would have the food they need. That's why establishing a counter economy is so important. Now this little farm in the middle of Spokane doesn't just have rabbits, and I actually already missed the first signs of self-sustainability when I came through the front yard where there is a zucchini and a tomato plant planted along the street, as well as a cherry and apple tree in the yard with other medicinal plants and herbs. In the back is where the animals reside, except of course for the unruly anarchist cats who won't be contained by man's rules and fences. Now I personally love fresh eggs, and I have a few sources in the area, but this is one of my favorites because she has ducks as well. Even without any eggs, just their presence adds to the farm. My kids enjoy watching them play in the water when we visit, and they usually don't disappoint. Of course, there are also different varieties of chickens providing the eggs as well. And like most things, diversity is probably a good thing. Eggs are the obvious benefit to having birds, but in addition, they can obviously be used for meat, as well as breeding for others in the community wanting some of their own. I say this because I've found using the traditional means of acquiring chicks in our economy, like going to Tractor Supply or one of these major corporations, is just about as gross as things can get. And I've since found someone local who will incubate eggs for us so we can get chicks humanely for people in the community interested in getting them. The rest of the yard is fenced off and used to grow food. The raspberries are starting to come in strong, as well as the rest of the garden. As I walk around my friend's backyard farm, I'm reminded of the cycles of life on Earth. Dead or decaying organic material is consumed by bugs and turned into rich nutrients for the soil. This small section of land, separated and maintained by a free woman of this earth, making and maintaining her claim to it by representing this circle of life and utilizing what has been given to us naturally, is a beacon of freedom and individuality, surrounded and almost besieged by the radiation of multiple radio waves from multiple sources used to bombard us, deteriorate our health, track us, and even make our decisions for us more and more every day. She chooses to live free and detached from the evil system preying on unwitting souls. For that, I'm choosing to highlight her and encourage others to do the same. My favorite thing about her backyard farm is she utilized the resources she already had on hand to make what she needed. She converted the play structure her kids outgrew into her chicken coop and rabbit hutch area. It's a great example of incorporating these new things and the ways of doing them into our lives without completely starting over and having huge expenses. I'm going to be bringing you more stories like this for future alternate economy shows. The squeeze is on, and we need to start figuring out how to supply ourselves and our beloved animals with the food and medical treatments we need. A lot of people, including myself, here in the ironically freedom-hating town of Liberty Lake, would say, my town won't allow me to have chickens, or will only allow me X amount per lot. And I understand that line of thinking, but we need to change it. This channel is called Questionable Authority, and I'm going to start closing every video with a question or series of questions to get us thinking about the authority those in positions of power claim to have over us and whether it's valid. So I'm going to conclude with this. Is a contract valid if you have been coerced into it with intimidating shows of force for non-compliance, or without full disclosure of all of the details? Do a handful of people in your community that meet once a month have the authority to tell you whether you can have a dog or a cat as a pet? Do they have the authority to regulate other pets on your property, unless you expressly give them that authority through voluntary consent? Do they have the authority to regulate how many animals or other pieces of property you can have on your land? And lastly, where does this small group of people, typically calling themselves a city council and pretending to have authority over how you use your own property, derive this authority from? Thank you for joining me for another video, my friends, and remember to live free. And of course, one of the best ways to do that is to join us this Saturday, July 3rd, and then every other Saturday at Franklin Park in Spokane, Washington from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. by the corner of Division and Queen Avenue for the Agorist Counter Economy Exchange. I hope to see you there so I can meet some new friends. Thank you for supporting my work. Independent thought and journalism are under attack. If you want to fight censorship and promote independent thinking and freedom, we need your support. It's not just me. All truth-minded content creators are getting pushed off of the most popular and censorship-loving social media platforms. You can support me by making a donation of cryptocurrency. I have multiple wallets listed in the description of every video. If you still love your international banksters' fiat currency, I have links to PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App listed as well. If you're unable to donate in that fashion, consider signing up for LBRY, 3Speak, Hive, Steemit, DTube, or Minds using the links below, and earn some crypto for yourself and me by using my affiliate links. Then, you and I can both be earning decentralized cryptocurrency for you simply watching and interacting with my content.